Social media is in full meltdown mode right now, after explosive claims surfaced that Ignite testings confirmed Mendeecees is the father of Erica Mena's youngest child. If that wasn't enough, there are also rumors that Yandy Smith lost control after learning the news and allegedly launched a full-fledged attack on Erica during a private moment backstage. What if the rumors you've been ignoring suddenly turned out to be true? What if the person you trusted the most was hiding a child with someone you couldn't stand? Just grab your popcorn because we're going to break down every crazy twist in this escalating scandal. Trust us. With so-called eyewitnesses, voice notes, and blurry screenshots that fans claim tell the entire story. Emotions are running high. The fan base is divided. And the drama is snowballing into something the love and hip-hop franchise might not recover. From how did it get to this point? Is there any truth to the rumors? What actually happened between Yandy and Erica that has everyone talking? It all gets messier from here. In the dim, whispers became gasps as one of the crew members, clearly shaken, hurried out of a private room moments earlier. A heated discussion had been simmering between two women, Yandy Smith and Erica Mena, who have a long history of tension and unresolved bitterness. Now, with the purported results of a near test going viral online, tension had finally exploded into something no one on the set could have predicted. According to those present, it wasn't just an argument anymore. It became physical, chaotic, and completely. The drama reportedly started earlier that morning when a blog that specializes in leaking celebrity rumors released what it claimed to be dinner test documents that linked Mendeecees to Erica Mena's child. Screenshots of the documents quickly went viral, and within hours, social media was ablaze with rumors. Fans demanded answers from Yandy, Erica, and even Mendeecees in post after post. Some were shocked, while others said they saw it coming. But the most shocking part wasn't even the dinner results themselves. According to sources, when Yandy first saw the posts, she didn't believe them and dismissed them as just another internet gimmick. However, when producers allegedly showed her behind-the-scenes footage that appeared to show men sneaking off set several times during filming to meet with Erica in private, insiders claim that her hands began to shake. At first, she didn't say anything, just stared at the screen in silence. Her lips pressed tightly together, her eyes locked in disbelief, and within minutes, she was out of her seat and headed directly to Erica's dressing room. The room fell silent as the door slammed against the wall, according to an assistant standing just outside. Yandy's voice was calm but icy. "You really couldn't wait, huh?" she allegedly said, her tone steady but dripping with rage. Several crew members claim that Yandy stormed in without knocking. Erica looked up, reportedly unfazed at first, and she smirked, which only fueled the "you had years to ask questions." Witnesses claim that Yandy suddenly lunged forward and grabbed Erica by the hair. Both women screamed and makeup bottles flew off the counter as security rushed in as the two women fell to the ground. It wasn't a catfight. Rather, it was raw, unfiltered rage that had been building for months or even years. "I just gave you answers," she allegedly replied. That's when things exploded. By the time they were separated, Yandy's shirt was ripped at the shoulder and Erica's wig was halfway off. Both of them were breathing heavily, and their faces were flushed with emotion. While the fight itself was shocking, the aftermath was even more intense, with Yandy being escorted out of the room by security. Erica allegedly yelled after the real bombshell came moments later, when a producer subtly instructed one of the interns to gather all the footage and lock it up. It was evident that what had just transpired wasn't just reality TV gold. It was a potential legal nightmare. And behind-the-scenes panic was beginning to set in as rumors began to circulate about who knew what and when production had known about it. "I heard it echo down the hallway, loud enough for several other cast members to hear it," the actor said. The rumors intensified when someone leaked a purported voicemail from Mendeecees Erica, saying, "I can't let Yandy find out like this, not like this." The 10-second clip was enough to send fans into a frenzy because the timeline didn't add up. If he knew about the child months ago, why didn't he say anything? Why let Yandy find out through rumors? Social media was ablaze with theories after blogs and backstage footage surfaced. Some fans defended Mendeecees' claims that he was likely afraid, while others criticized him for being cowardly and dishonest. However, it was evident that no one had anticipated Yandy's outburst, as those who had previously viewed her as the calm, rational one were now labeling her as unhinged, emotional, and even dangerous. Erica's response was equally shocking when she went live on Instagram later that evening. "I didn't ask for this drama," she said, "but I did ask for the truth. And now that it's out, everyone wants to act surprised. I tried to keep it private, but he didn't leave me much of a choice." She paused, looking into the camera, and added, "For the record, I didn't throw the first punch." Her expression was a mixture of hurt and satisfaction. The live stream finished as swiftly as it started, but it left viewers in shock. Her comment area was overflowing with both hate and love, with some accusing her of stirring up trouble and others applauding her for standing her own. The pot and splitting a family, but where was Mendeecees in all of this? As the night wore on, his silence grew louder. He hadn't posted, left a comment, liked, or shared anything, and fans began tagging him in everything, pleading for a response. The longer he remained silent, though each other apart over a truth he should have acknowledged long ago. Behind closed doors, things were reportedly falling apart even more, as a crew member leaked the text exchange purportedly between Mendeecees and a producer, saying, "I need a day before I return because this isn't just tea anymore." According to someone close to her, Yandy spent the night sobbing, torn between heartbreak and humiliation. As everyone was reacting as if the dinner documents were real, no official statement had been made, which kept the tension high. Another insider said that Yandy refused to film the following day and stayed locked in her trailer, refusing to speak to anyone except her stylist and her sister. As chaotic as things had become, this was only the beginning, because the very next morning, a new rumor started to circulate that suggested men had more to confess, something even Yandy didn't know yet. Something Erica had been holding on to just in case, according to someone on set. Some believed it was all fake, another ploy for ratings, and that it was the last nail in the coffin of Yandy and Mendeecees' already fragile relationship. Case had arrived the following morning, and the set felt unusually tense, like the calm after a storm that no one really survived. The crew members, uncertain of whether today's shoot would even go forward, walked quietly, exchanging glances and whispering in corners. Yandy hadn't arrived yet, and her trailer was still closed. The curtains were drawn, and there was no sign of movement inside. Several calls from production went unanswered, either entered the set like a woman reborn. Many assumed Erica wasn't, hiding when she showed up with her glam squad in full force, head held high, makeup flawless, and a walk that conveyed the air of someone who had just won a long, brutal battle. Producers were unsure whether to postpone shooting, but Erica looked them in the eye and said, "Either roll the cameras or I'll go live myself." That was all it took for everything to change, and with the cameras rolling, Erica sat in a velvet chair with assurance. "This is the dinner report that I gave to production a few days ago. It's online now. It wasn't leaked by me." Her next words hit like an earthquake. Men knew everything he came to see. She stared into the lens with intensity and a steady voice. "What happened last night wasn't planned, but it was bound to happen," she said, pulling out a folded piece of paper that was neatly creased and held with purpose. "He claimed did," he replied, "nothing." That confession scene ended. Production scurried. The tension in the room was electric. No one had expected such. Erica paused, her voice cracking slightly. "I asked him to tell Yandy himself. I told him the truth would only hurt more the longer he stays silent. He chose to remain silent, and now everyone is staring at me like I'm the villain. The most shocking thing, though, was that Menk still hadn't appeared or spoken a word. Meanwhile, social media was ablaze with hashtags like #Mendeecees and #YANDE trending on all platforms. Fans were in a frenzy, sharing their reactions and creating memes. And one user tweeted, "If Mendeecees isn't denying it, then maybe it's true. Yandy deserves better," another person wrote. The person who keeps everything together when everyone else breaks down is always the last to know. The online storm reached Yandy in real time. She hadn't slept. She spent the night scrolling through comments, watching people dissect her life, her relationship, her marriage. She was watching herself become the center of a scandal she didn't ask for. Then, just before dawn, she received a text, shortened cold. It read, "We need to talk. The producers approached Yandy the next afternoon and asked if she would be willing to film a private segment to share her side without the cast or any interruptions. Just her and the camera. She agreed, but only on the condition that no one else be near the set. They acknowledged that they needed the footage and the raw emotion. And when Yandy arrived, the set was set up like she sat down slowly, took a deep breath, and looked into the camera. I've stood by men, and now I'm supposed to just sit back and accept this? Confessional candles flickered in the background, and there was faint music humming. She didn't wear makeup, and her eyes were sharp with quiet rage. If Erica is telling the truth, was I even fighting for all these years? She said, her hands shaking slightly, but she maintained her composure. She closed her eyes for a moment. I'm not broken yet, but I'm tired of always being the last to know. Tired of putting out fires I didn't start, and tired of loving someone who might not have been honest with me. There was a long pause, and then she glanced away before turning back to the camera. I know the world is watching, but... And no one moved after the segment ended. It seemed as though time had stopped. The producers silently discussed whether to air the footage right away or wait for the Mendeecees to respond. But that response hasn't arrived yet. The next event they had planned was supposed to be a group dinner, a reunion of sorts. But given the current situation, nobody was prepared. Tempers were high and egos were bruised. Instead, the producer's Erica came 2 hours late, wearing a long black coat and large sunglasses. When questioned why she was late, she smiled and replied, "I had to speak with my lawyer." This gave her another opportunity to take charge of the story and provide an opportunity to address some of the more unanswered points. The internet went into a frenzy after she gave that response alone. What lawyer was she suing? And was she getting ready for a custody dispute or, worse, a public returning to the camera? She calmly stated, "Look, I don't hate Yandy. I never did, but I was done hiding. I was done acting like I'm out here trying to destroy families. I'm not. I just want the truth to be out." She then disclosed something startling. "The report wasn't from me. It came from Mendeecees," he ordered. He voluntarily gave the sample, and when the results arrived, he looked at them and he sobbed. The silence that followed her words was more powerful than any as Erica's words settled into the atmosphere. The next bomb was already ticking, as the echoes of Erica's last confession began to ripple through the set. The tension reached new heights as the producers were shocked to learn that Mendeecees actually known the truth all along and had chosen to keep it secret. The idea that Mendeecees had known about the dinner results long before the public found out hit everyone like a tidal wave, and whispers filled the production hallways. The fact that he was still there made it painfully clear that the BBC wasn't hiding because he was afraid. Rather, they were hiding because they knew the storm he had created was one that might drown everyone. Some crew members questioned whether he would even show his face again, while others weren't so certain. In the meantime, Yandy wasn't finished. After filming, Harifell's sit-down disappeared for a full day without receiving any calls or texts or even posting anything. Fans were concerned that she had completely lost it, but she came back strong. She uploaded a mysterious video to her Instagram story showing her slowly moving down a hallway while wearing all black. With the caption, "Truth always comes to light." No voice, no face, just that cold statement. The internet went wild within. The producers, with no interruptions or cuts, just the two of them in a room. They expected Yandy to say no, but surprisingly, she agreed, with the only condition that no men were present on the day of the shoot. The tension was unbearable. Cameras were set up, security was increased, and every crew member knew that something explosive was going to happen. Jennifer arrived first, poised but unreadable. 10 minutes later, she appeared in a fitted white dress, her energy controlled but obviously guarded. They sat across from one another, the air between them thick enough to cut with a knife. Jennifer said, "I'm not here to scream, I'm not here to fight, but I need to understand why you did this the way you did." After a long pause, she answered, "I did what I had to do because he wouldn't," she said. "I apologize for putting you in the crossfire, but you were already there. You're just unaware of it. You think that going public and letting the internet consume you makes you a victim," Yandy said, blinking slowly as she processed the words. She leaned forward a little. "You could have come to me and shown me woman to woman, but instead you made a surface out of my life." "I tried," she said. Yandy dropped the next bombshell. "You're not the only one he's lied to," quietly saying. "This wasn't the first rumor, and if I'm being honest, I've been suspicious for a while." The two women stared at each other for a long time, and it wasn't yelling or chaos, but something much more raw. Two women facing the weight of betrayal from the same man. "If you wouldn't listen, and you always, he told you. I was tired of being dismissed, wasn't just about the baby." She looked down, her voice cracking slightly. "But I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to protect our family and protect my peace, but peace doesn't come from lies." Erica looked shocked as her face softened for the first time during the conversation, so she asked Yandy, "Look up." Her eyes were filled with a mixture of strength and pain, and "I now know what healing looks like with or without him." As soon as that scene was over, the producers were overwhelmed by the footage, which was superior to any reality TV drama they'd ever seen. Fans were treated to another unexpected twist that night, when a close friend of Mendeecees, who had been silent throughout the scandal, went live on Instagram. His name was Dre, and he was a longtime associate from the early days of music. During the live, he said something that rocked the internet to its foundation. "I'm not here to pick sides," Dre started, "but you keep asking where Mendeecees is. The truth is that he's been keeping quiet while trying to clean up the mess." Fans flocked to the comment section, stating that if this friend was telling the truth, Mendeecees had willfully allowed Yandy and Erica to suffer in silence while he attempted to balance two versions of his life. One fan wrote, "He was playing chess while they were stuck playing survival." Another, "He broke trust. But let me be clear, he knew about the baby. He told me before the results even came in that he had a gut feeling. He just didn't want to lose his wife, and now he might have lost everything. And that's more difficult to fix back on set." The producers were rushing to rewrite the next few episodes because the plot had changed. What started as a simple twist had turned into a heartbreaking breakdown of love, deceit, and public fallout. They knew they needed Mendeecees more than ever because the audience wanted to see his side of the story. Therefore, they sent out an official invitation, not a casual request, but a formal on-camera segment called Mendeecees Speaks, with no edits. Soft lighting, just him, a chair, and a camera. And to everyone's surprise, he said, "Yes, my team sent a short message to producers saying he'll be there, but he won't be answering questions, he's coming to talk." That statement alone set social media on fire, and fans started counting down to the episode. Timelines of the entire saga were released. On blogs and Reddit threads analyzed body language from every scene. Some felt sorry for Mendeecees the day of his taping arrived, and the set was eerily silent. It felt like Judgment Day. One chair, one man, one truth. Or perhaps several. However, before the cameras rolled, Mendeecees led Yandy, and what he said would change everything. As the phone rang, Yandy sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the screen, unsure whether to answer or decline. It was Mendeecees, and the name alone set off a chain reaction of feelings, including anger, betrayal, sadness, and confusion. After a few more rings, "I know I'm the last person you want to hear from," he said quietly, almost as if he couldn't believe she had picked up. "But before I face everyone else, I had to talk to you after a long silence," she whispered. "You should have come to me the moment you knew." "I know," he admitted, "and I failed not just because I didn't do what I said, as a husband, but as a man. I ed Yandy because I was afraid of losing you and of having to own up to my mistakes, which made me self-centered." Yandy's breath caught. "Do you even comprehend what you've done to me and our children? They see the headlines and hear the rumors, and I have to explain everything while you vanish." His voice cracked, but this call doesn't fix anything, but maybe it's a start. However, there was another silence, and Yandy finally replied, "If you're truly sorry, don't just talk to me. Say it to the world. Own it." "I will. Perhaps I was too late." The call ended when there would be no lies or filters, and a few hours later, Mendeecees arrived on set for his eagerly anticipated debut. He wore a black sweatshirt and pants and looked dapper. "I messed up. There's no script here, no excuses. I lied not just to my wife, but to someone who deserved the truth too. When Erica came to me and told me she was pregnant, I panicked, not knowing what to believe and honestly not wanting to believe it." He was exhausted and worn down by the weight of everything as he sat in the chair under the glaring lights. The camera crew prepared in silence, and everyone knew what he was about to say could either redeem him or destroy him. He paused and then went on, "Because I knew what it would cost me on Yandy, and I had already been through so much. And the idea of bringing a secret like that into our lives felt like a death sentence to everything we had built. When the results of the DNAs confirmed what I was too scared to accept, I froze. I told myself that I needed time to figure out how to break the news to Yandy. But in reality, I was buying time for myself because I didn't want to lose the life I had. So I kept lying. I Erica to wait, telling myself that the truth could wait, but it didn't. Instead, it exploded as fans all across the world watched in shock as his confession was made public. They saw a broken man dealing with the fallout from his own devastation, not the confident, composed, and in-control man they were used to seeing. He went on home saying, "If you're watching, I'm sorry. Don't expect forgiveness. Don't expect things to go back to how they were, but I need you to know that everything I did was out of fear, not out of malice. I was afraid of losing you." He then addressed Erica, saying, "I'd owe you an apology for not being a man from the beginning, as I would have been left to carry this. No more lies, no more silence. It's time to face everything," Mendeecees stated, his voice barely audible as he finished his declaration. "Alone. No child deserves to grow up in the middle of this mess, and I'll do whatever it takes to be there for my child." Nobody knew what would happen next as the team packed up the studio. But they did know that this moment would go down in hip-hop and love history when the episode aired just days later. Later, ablaze with debates and emotional reactions. Fans were split. Some applauded men for finally coming clean, while others argued that it was too little, too late. Hashtags like #MindYC, single quotes ask confession, and #YandyY serves better trended for hours. But the biggest surprise came from Yandy herself the day after the episode aired. Erica also responded with a video of her own, crying as she sat in her car and wiped away her tears. Hearing him speak his truth hurt more than I expected. But it also gave me a strange sense of closure, not peace yet, but something close. I don't know what the future holds for us, and I'm not ready to make any decisions. But I do know one thing. My worth is not tied to someone else's mistakes, and I will never let betrayal break me. In a surprising turn of events, both women who had previously been bitter enemies started following each other on Instagram again. No words were spoken in public, but the gesture said volumes behind the scenes. Producers hinted that the next season might feature a new kind of dynamic between Yandy and Erica, not friends. Not enemies, just a women learning to coexist after surviving the same storm. I've made mistakes too, but hidden. All I want is peace for me, my baby, and all of us. The story may have begun with betrayal, secrecy, and chaos. But now there was a tiny flickering light of something different. Accountability, healing, and possibly even redemption. However, the wounds were still fresh, and even though apologies were made, trust would take much longer to rebuild, according to DC's sources. He has started private counseling and is attempting to mend his relationship with both women, starting with being a father to the child he once denied. What a roller coaster this whole situation has been. From the secret NA test to explosive confrontations and emotional breakdowns, this drama has rocked the love and hip-hoppered to its core, leaving fans still in shock over Mendeecees' shocking confession, Yandy's raw and powerful response, and Erica Mena's emotional plea for peace. Meanwhile, somewhere in the quiet aftermath, three lives continue to shift as they attempt to understand what it means to move on after the truth has finally come out and everything has changed. One thing is certain, though. This story is far from over, with so many emotions still raw and trust hanging by a thread. The next chapter could bring anything from healing and reconciliation to even more shocking twists. We've seen relationships crash and burn before, but we've also seen love and strength rise. The real question is what will happen next. Will Yandy and Mendeecees ever be able to rebuild what's been broken? Can Erica and Yandy find common ground after years of tension and betrayal? Only time will tell whether these three can rise above the ashes or whether this drama is just beginning. But we want to know which side you support. Do you believe Mindy deserves forgiveness? Can Yandy ever trust him again? What about Erica? Was she right to come forward with the truth, or should she have handled it differently? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below, as we know you have opinions on this crazy situation. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that. The fans of the reality K-drama were shocked when Mother went public. It was the closest thing to a complete confirmation that the child was, in fact, his, and then the story changed again. What started as a rumor had now descended into a full-blown collapse of a public relationship with legal repercussions, broken trust, and more. Set your notification bell so you never miss an update on all the latest reality K-drama scandals and secrets. Stay tuned because we've got even more explosive stories coming your way very soon. As the dust settled, one question remained above all others. Would Mendeecees ever win back the public's trust? Would Yandy ever return to the show? Or had she damaged reputations in every direction? Man's once calm and admired figure had been reduced to a man surrounded by silence, regret, and unanswered questions. Yandy, who had supported him through prison trials and scandals, had walked away with barely a word. No one had the answers, but one thing was certain. The story wasn't over by a long shot. Everything we thought we knew was turned upside down. From quiet rumors to explosive revelations, this scandal has taken many unexpected turns, and none of them could have been predicted. Erica's tears, Men's breakdown, and Yandy's silence, all of it paints a picture of a family torn apart. Finally, tired of the cameras, the drama, and the betrayals. Would she choose to save her face and speak again? Or would she choose to raise her son in silence, far away from the world that had appended her life. In addition to revealing a child's father, the leaked nail results also showed rifts in relationships, trust, and devotion that may have resulted from truth. Secrets and decisions that couldn't be kept hidden. Fans of Never Fully Heal are still inquiring, how did one get to this point? The woman's subdued assertion ultimately shakes Mendeecees' world to its core. And where do they all go from here? Is there a way forward now that the truth is out there? As much as we've seen, will Erica speak again in the future for Mendeecees and Yandy? Or is this the end? Given the narrative for all parties concerned, we would like to know if you think Mendeecees is prepared to take over, and accept accountability. Was Yandy justified in leaving? Is Erica a victim? Leave your thoughts in the comments section without holding back, whether you're a manipulator or just a mother defending her child's identity. Beyond just drama, this novel, if you've been watching every development. Don't forget to like this video and make sure you understand the emotional cost of public life. Turn on your notifications and click the subscribe button because, believe us, there's always more where this came from. Never miss the following installment because the truth always finds a way to surface in the world of love secrets and reality out. And we'll be here to break it all down for you when it does.